Portages don't usually piss me off that much, but I'm starting to get really mad at this stuff.
It's gonna take us days to pass this dam.
Laughlin, what an amazing little Vegas on the side of the river.
Easy come, easy go.
Oh shit, I just broke the canoe.
We need this boat to stay intact at least until we make it to Mexico.
He went ripping down and I decided I'd do a backflip off the back of the Sea-Doo.
Towing a canoe behind a Sea-Doo just doesn't work so well.
My name is Bryans, and this is my best buddy. And his name is Brian too.
Out of all the water in the world, only 1% is fresh water. And we're gonna explore all of it.
And this time we're canoeing the Colorado River, all the way from Colorado down to the border of Mexico.
And we're gonna use the same old canoe.
Think we're crazy? You're right. We're the Paddling Bryans.
Man, it's hot.
This headwind's been killing us, but we finally got a little bit of a break here in this cove, approaching the portage.
Brian, you think this is the pullout area before the dam?
There's probably like 50 miles of lake left. One thing about the Colorado River is once it turns into lakes, if you like boating and motorsports, well, this is the place to be. Twin jets on that. Wow, it's amazing. We're actually moving for a change. Past bunch of days, we weren't at all.
Hey Brian, let's pull out over here. The easiest way to get to the Davis Dam. Davis's Dam is right around the corner.
I think Laughlin's right there, and I hear this casino right on the road.
Let it ride, bro.
Let it ride. I know I keep saying this, but the heat is really starting to take a toll. Portages in this extreme heat is too much to deal with. Well, it's not too much, but it's a lot to deal with. The wind against that canoe as a hat is pulling me in every which direction. Portages don't usually piss me off that much, but these ones are starting to kill me and really I'm starting to get really mad at this stuff. Holy this is hard. 20-foot canoes are not meant to be worn as canoes. At all. The heat is killing us. We're only able to do so many 100 yards at a time before we take a break.
It's gonna take us days to pass this dam.
We should have thought like last season and brought the wheel system. We gotta figure new ideas out. That was probably one of the worst portages we've ever done. With all the wind and the size of the canoe, we really should have stuck with the wheel system we had before. But now wearing the canoe as a hat, well, it's always windy, so it totally sucks. Adams has to grab onto the back of the canoe just to try and keep the thing straight and not tip me over.
What a horrible portage. I mean, portage is normally tough, but in this heat, it's just horrible. I don't know how we made it, but we did. We're finally back at the water, and she's flowing pretty quick, so I'm excited to get in it. Smooth sailing from here on out. Wow, there's a lot of traffic on this river. Maybe we'll find some party people.
Apparently downstream pretty close, there's a casino town. It's called Laughlin, Bryce says, to check the maps, and our producers didn't, well, they wouldn't take us to Vegas, so you know what? We're stopping here.
Only the essentials. The real essentials.
Let it ride, baby.
Laughlin, what an amazing little Vegas on the side of the river.
Easy come, easy go.
Towing a canoe behind a sea-doo just doesn't work so well.
In Nevada, right after the Davis Dam, there's this place called Laughlin. It's like a little mini Vegas right on the side of the river. Our producers wouldn't let us go into Vegas. It was too much of a detour, and they knew they'd lose us inside Vegas and we'd never finish the trip. So we see Laughlin around the side of the river. Of course we're pulling in there.
After being stuck in a canoe on the river alone with Bryans for so long, it was a really great change to walk into a casino with all kinds of bright lights, people everywhere.
It's like overwhelming. It's too much almost. come, easy go. We played a few slot machines. We played the roulette table, of course. That's my favorite, even though I'm the worst at it, because I have no strategy. I just like to put it all on red.
Swimmers,
Sweet.
How about you?
Does that mean you win? I think we gotta stick to canoeing because we're terrible gamblers.
It's time to get out of here before we lose all of our money.
Let it ride, baby. As we're leaving Laughlin, it's really impressive to see how huge these casinos are compared to how small we are on the water. It's like canoeing through a huge city. I'd imagine that paddling down the river through Laughlin must be like driving a convertible down the strip in Vegas. So we got it pretty close. The river section through Laughlin is really nice. There's lots of little inlets and islands that we could, snake in and out of to avoid all the jet ski traffic on the water. I really like the Back to the Future movie where Michael J. Fox sends his skateboard underneath the car, runs over the car, and gets back onto his skateboard. So when I see a bridge low enough, I'll try that with the canoe.
Well, the whole trip down the Colorado, Brian has been looking for a bridge that he could try and do his Back to the Future move on again. And sure enough, when we're leaving Laughlin, he found it.
Gotta try this one again. Okay, just sec, 1, 2, 3, let go.
Well, it was fun to see Brian jump over another bridge, but sure enough, when he was climbing back into the boat, he breaks a piece of it off.
Oh shit, I just broke the canoe.
We need this boat to stay intact, at least until we make it to Mexico. Honestly, I think Brian just broke the canoe just for another excuse to use his rope and fix something. Well, Brian was trying to be funny, and...
Well, I broke the canoe a little bit. We got a broken thwart. But I have a quick fix for this, so we'll do that real quick and get on our way. So I hope this works. This will be one of those temporary things until we get somewhere better to properly fix this. But we don't have a rivet kit with us, so rope's gonna have to do for now. I love rope. There's never a problem, only a solution. I hope. Okay, that's fine there. Now what I need, that to there. Okay, watch your hand. Adams was a little pissed off, but I can fix anything with rope. What are you shaking your head for? This is gonna work for sure. That was dumb. Better than new.
All fixed up and ready to go. On to needles.
Isn't it noodles?
No noodles for you. It's great to be back on the water, and especially after a dam, like the current's going again and we're actually tracking good distance. But we have to take time to stop and look at the things on the side of the river, enjoy the sights a little bit. And sure enough, we were passing what I thought was an old abandoned building, but Brian explained to me that it was probably a casino that they just ran out of money and weren't able to finish the structure.
I explained to him how you could see the rebar still sticking out of the top where there was unpoured concrete. It was just a structure that the owners had run out of money and they weren't able to finish the project.
I got a little lesson on on what was going on the side of the river from Bryan.
Holy shit, Brian, look how fast the ground is moving, man.
Nice to be back on a river with some current, huh?
This is definitely the part where we get to just sit back, float down river and drink beer. Yeah, man. He went ripping down and I decided I'd do a backflip off the back of the Sea-Doo.
This guy backflips off anything he can find.
I don't know, there's something about backflipping off things, you know? I mean, don't you get it?
We're paddling down the river and we see some other fellow paddlers out there, another group of kayakers, and we knew right away the first group of kayakers we met we had so much fun with. This group of kayakers I don't think is going to be any different. So we pulled up and said hi.
Don't film this shit, my boss. I'm sick, man.
Don't worry, we won't put the date on it.
Yeah, there you go.
Really nice people. They were out partying. They'd done that river for 14 consecutive years, that section of river. This is so sweet. Those lakes before this, like dead water with headwinds, was the worst.
I know, just floating down the river and drinking beer. These guys come equipped. Everybody had a cooler on their kayak and they were all happy to hand out cold beers and you know, trade stories with us. It was a whole lot of fun.
And then a sea-doer pulls up. So naturally, I got to try and wakeboard the canoe.
It's like he's water skiing on a canoe.
The sea-doers kind of wanted to give us a little bit of a helping hand, so one of them decided to give us a tow. But sure enough, towing a canoe behind a sea-doo just doesn't work so well. And, Brian ended up in the water, but we at least made a little bit of distance up.
It worked for a bit. I fell in. We had some fun. Then I got onto the Sea-Doo with him. He went ripping down and I decided I'd do a backflip off the back of the Sea-Doo.
Nice! Well done, buddy, well done.
This guy backflips off anything he can find.
I don't know, there's something about backflipping off things, you know? I mean, don't you get it?
Oh. It's so refreshing, the water.
Now we're in the lower part of the Colorado. It just moves and it's great. Like, even with the wind, we don't really have to paddle. It's just fantastic.
We're paddling down river and sure enough, we see another casino on the side of the river.
We thought we were just gonna avoid it, but I mean, who are we kidding? We had to stop.
Are you guys sticking around?
Actually, we might stay here, I don't know yet.
To be determined.
Yeah, no kidding. That's the way to live,
be determined.
To be determined. Brian 1, Brian 2, we love you.
Ooh, cool.
We left Laughlin and as usual, we met some cool guys in paddle boats going down the river, and well, they were staying at this casino tonight and they said it would be a good time, and you know what, I'm inclined to agree, so we're gonna hang out here for the night. Screw camping for once.
We gotta stop at these casinos. I mean, the people you meet, the fun you have, and the drinks are cold. All right, we're losing too much time in these casinos. We gotta track distance. Let's get out of here.
Well, as we left the casino, we still had great current and we were just floating down the river, enjoying ourselves, making up great distance, and sure enough, we saw a whole fleet of canoe again. So we decided we had to go and see these guys, and turns out it was a whole bunch of Boy Scouts.
It's gone.
We got, what, 12 boys? We're from Las Vegas.
on a scout trip canoeing down from Laughlin down to Lake Havasu, about what, 50, 60 miles, 4-day trip. So we're about halfway there now.
How many miles do you guys canoe each day on the average?
Average is probably, depending on lake or river, 30 on river, I'd say.
Yeah, about 30 on river. Like
today we're not going to do much because our checkpoint isn't too far, but when we really want to go, 30, 40 on river and lake, depending on headwinds. I mean, some days we do 5.
really nice guys, and it was a lot of fun to hang out with them for a little bit, but we couldn't hang out with them for too long because they were just going way too slow.
Brian, don't insult the Boy Scouts.
It's pretty cool how the Boy Scouts are the only ones that we ever see out in canoes.
Yeah, there's nobody else that canoes.
2 dummies named Brian and the Boy Scouts. As we're pulling up to Needles, we see a bridge with a big rope swing underneath it, and it seems like a whole bunch of people hanging out on the beach. So me and Brian decide that it'd be a good spot to pull over and go and hang out for a little bit.
None of these kids have ever been in a canoe. I'm gonna try and take y'all for a little ride.
So we took all their kids and threw them all in the canoe. There wasn't any room for me, so I stood on the shore and filmed, and Brian took them on a little tour of the bay that they were in.
Okay, now someone give me a paddle.
Someone give him a paddle.
I'm gonna need one. They were a bunch of little brats, actually. They started messing with all the gear in the canoe and ripping at shit and throwing stuff out like it was a horror story, man. It was terrible. We were losing our gear to these little terror kids, so we had to get rid of the kids and ship downriver pretty quick.
It was a lot of fun, but sure enough, I kept getting kind of a sketchy feeling. I mean, they were kind of unseemly, these folk, and we kind of just wanted to get the hell out of Needles.
Oh, nice. Pull us in. Yeah, pull us right up to shore.
Pull us!
Nice, boys. Nice, boys.
Oh,
there we go. Thank you.
We got to keep going, and I know that Lake Havasu's up next, and I know London Bridge is there, and I've always wanted to see that, so I'm pretty excited. Can't wait to get there.